Never dreamed that you would change my world forever, but here we are. I'm ready to conquer, ready to fight injustice like I'm fighting monsters. Life is black and blue, happy then it's sad. Just call it an adventure, then it ain't so bad. Together we touch the sky, wherever we go we fly. Forever we know adventures in the air tonight. Together we touch the sky, wherever we go we fly. Forever we know adventures in the air tonight. Our dreams will come alive. Our dreams will come alive. You and me, we found adventure in a land of very much, very treasure. And this could be my last adventure.
Every morning, Rodoy's son checks his fish pen. He's been a fisherman almost all of his life and has recently moved to Manila. Fishing has always been difficult in the provinces, but he says it's far more challenging in the capital.
Mga water lily.
The current is not so strong today. My fish pen has no garbage. Unlike when the waters are high, garbage is everywhere.
The stench is overwhelming. Hundreds of Filipino fishermen depend on Manila Bay for their livelihood. They admit it is not an ideal place for fishing. Manila Bay is one of the most polluted areas in Manila, but they are left with no choice. Greenpeace says cleanup activities in Manila Bay show that disposable plastics used just once are one of the leading causes of pollution. It says the situation is similar all across the country, with giant companies and their customers polluting oceans with their plastic waste. In the Philippines, where the majority of people live below the poverty line, families are pushed to buy cheap goods in small quantities. The so-called sachet economy responds to the needs of Filipino consumers. But it has also made the country the third biggest polluter of oceans based on a Greenpeace study. China and Indonesia rank first and second.
We don't have enough an infrastructure to manage our waste. We have a good law, the Ecological Solid Waste Management Law, but we feel that it's not implemented properly in all levels of the government.
The government admits a national policy must be in place.
We want that to be banned, totally banned, the single-use plastic. All other packaging materials of similar characteristics, we want that to be banned.
Sunsets over Manila Bay are spectacular, but the Philippine capital is gaining an unwanted reputation for its wasted potential. Jamal Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Manila.
So we only have two options: to save our planet or die. Hey there, let's drink. Did you know that Earth is known as the blue planet because 21% of Earth's surface is covered with water, 97% of Earth's water is found in the oceans, 3% of Earth's water is fresh, 2.5% of Earth's fresh water is unavailable, locked up in the glaciers, polar ice caps, atmosphere, and soil, or highly polluted, or lies too far under the Earth's surface to be extracted at an affordable cost. 0.5% of Earth's water is available, fresh water. Water also exists below land surface and as water vapor in the air. Water is a finite source. The bottled water that is consumed today might possibly be the same water that once trickled down the back of the woolly mammoth. The Earth is a closed system, meaning that very little matter, including water, ever leaves or enter the atmosphere. The water that was here billions of years ago is still here now, but the Earth's cleans and replenishes the water supplied through hydrologic cycle. The Earth has an abundance of water, but unfortunately only a small percentage is even usable by humans. Majority of fresh water is actually found underground as soil moisture and in aquifers. Groundwater can feed the streams, which is why a river can keep flowing even when there has been no precipitation. Humans can use both ground and surface water. Water is one of the most important substances on Earth. All plants and animals must have water to survive. If there was no water, there would be no life on Earth. Apart from drinking it to survive, people have many other uses for water. This includes cooking, washing their bodies, washing their clothes, washing, cooking, and eating utensils, keeping houses and communities clean, recreation such as swimming pools, keeping plants alive in gardens and parks. Water is also essential for the healthy growth of farm crops and farm stock and is used in manufacture of many products. Because of this amazing use of water, humans tend to abuse the water use and the amount of resources of water and made it polluted. What is water pollution? Water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, aquifer, or other body of water, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to humans or the environment. What are the causes of water pollution? Water is uniquely vulnerable to pollutions. Known as universal solvent, water is able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid on Earth. It is the reason we have brilliant blue waterfalls. It's also why water is so easily polluted. Toxic substances from farms, towns, and factories readily dissolve into and mix with it, causing water pollution. There are categories of water pollution. First category is groundwater. When rain falls and seeps deep into the earth, filling the cracks and porous spaces of aquifer, it becomes groundwater, one of our least visible but most important natural resources. For some folks in rural areas, it's their only freshwater source. Groundwater gets polluted when contaminants from pesticides and fertilizers to waste leach from landfills and septic system make their way into an aquifer, rendering it unsafe for human use. Ridding groundwater of contaminants can be difficult to impossible, as well as costly. Once polluted, an aquifer may be unusable for decades, or even thousands of years. Groundwater can also spread contamination far from original polluting source as it seeps into stream, lakes, and oceans. Next, we have the surface water. Covering about 70% of Earth's surface, water is what fills our ocean, lakes, river, and all those other blue bits of the world map. Surface water from freshwater sources accounts for more than 60% of water delivered to American homes. Nearly half of our rivers and streams and more than 1/3 of our lakes are polluted and unfit for swimming, fishing, and drinking. Nutrient pollution, which includes nitrates, phosphates, is the leading type of contamination in these freshwater sources. While plants and animals need these nutrients to grow, they have become a major pollutant due to farm waste and fertilizers runoff. Municipal and industrial waste discharges contribute their fair share of toxins as well. There's also all the random junk that industry and individuals dump directly into waterways. Also, we have the ocean water. 80% of oceans pollution originate on land, whether along the coast or far inland. Contaminants such as chemicals, nutrients, and heavy metals are carried from farms, factories, and cities by streams and rivers into our bays and estuaries. From there, they travel out to sea. Meanwhile, marine debris, particularly plastic, is blown in by the wind or washed in via storm drains and sewers. Our seas are also sometimes spoiled by oil spills and leaks, big and small, and all consistently soaking up carbon pollution from the air. The ocean absorbs as much as a quarter of man-made carbon emissions. And next we have the point source. When contamination originates from a single source, it's called point source pollution. Example includes wastewater, discharged legally or illegally by a manufacturer, oil refinery, or wastewater treatment facility, as well as contamination from leaking septic system, chemical and oil spill. While point source pollution originates from a specific place, it can affect miles of waterways and ocean. Next we have non-point source. Non-point source pollution is contamination derived from diffuse sources. This may include agriculture or storm water, runoff, or debris blown into waterways from land. Non-point source pollution is the leading cause of water pollution around the world, but it's difficult to regulate since there's no single identifiable culprit. Next we have the transboundary. It goes without saying that water pollution can be contained by a line on the map. Transboundary pollution is the result of contamination water from one country spilling into the waters of another. Contamination can result from disasters like an oil spill or the slow down river creep of industrial, agricultural, or municipal discharges. Also, this associated to the climate changes experienced in the world for pollution in the water can affect many factors, including the addition to the severe climate of the world, which lead to severe temperature changes, unpredictable weather, fluctuation, and many other climate-related problems. This gives rise to many disasters and affects many people, experience a painful loss, suffer to the consequences of the hostile approach of human in conserving water. Before I end this discussion, let me give you this quote. What we do is what we deserve to have. If we conserve the water properly, the environment would give us a clean water to consume. But if we do the opposite, then we deserve to drink a dirty water. May imo man gidaot, so unsa man imo gi-expect na moabot sa imo? Pagdaot pod. Char. This is Glenn Ramos Sugoncillo, saying that knowledge is power. So keep that power burning and use it to inspire other people. Thank you for watching, and see you again to my next video.
Given that's how we live it, don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.